But we also know that there have been infringements on free speech that actually affect not just the British, but also affect American technology companies and by extension, American citizens. So
J.D. Vance hands it, body slams, I would say, the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer over censorship. This is leadership. And our Department of Justice has sent letters about censorship to Microsoft. Basically, it keeps all foreign countries from being able to censor American citizens, which is what we need here in America to protect our free speech and protect our country. Welcome to the Doug TenNapel channel. This is where the happy patriots are, as we champion our Vice President, the great J.D. Vance.
I said what I said, which is that we do have, of course, a special relationship with our friends in the UK and also with some of our European allies. But we also know that there have been infringements on free speech that actually affect not just the British. Of course, what the British do in their own country is up to them, but also affect American technology companies and by extension, American citizens. So that is something that we'll talk about today at lunch.
Yeah. Get on that at lunch over crumpets and shepherd's pie. You tell them. This is about J.D. Vance's speech that he gave last week in Germany, where he body slammed all of Europe, basically, for not having free speech, not defending free speech. And it ends up affecting America because you have Elon Musk trying to put X out all around in Europe. And they're basically going to say, based on what is being tweeted over in America, we're going to censor you here. We're going to fine you here. We're going to deplatform you here. We're going to charge you here. That's what you have going on right now. And they do the same thing to Amazon, same thing to Apple, where Tim Cook, we did a video earlier this year, in fact, it was last year, where Tim Cook of Apple for the iPhone said, look, Europe is destroying us for the iPhone. They're coming after us. They're finding us about what's in the App Store. They want to launch a bunch of tariffs and VAT taxes, and they're gouging our money out of our company and keeping it for themselves. Trump goes, I'll take care of it. And then suddenly Tim Cook of Apple is going to Mar-a-Lago. Here's J.D. Vance finishing up.
We've had free speech for a very, very long time in the United Kingdom, and it will last for a very, very long time. Well, no, I mean, certainly we wouldn't want to reach across US citizens, and we don't, and that's absolutely right. But in relation to free speech in the UK, I'm very proud of our history there.
He's proud of his history of free speech as they are imprisoning people for praying silently in public and for posting memes, sending them up. You should not be proud. In fact, Trump really should tell them, look, we don't want Canada to be the 51st state. We're interested in taking UK. We had a little war and we got our country. And then you guys started another war with us, the War of 1812. And that was not, we owe them still for that. So you go, you know what we're going to do to pay for that? We'll make you the 51st state. And we'll take it from here, Keir Starmer, because you are, in fact, Churchill would want us to take over. He would demand we take over England. It's so terrible. They deserve so much better leadership than this. And our roots, our whole theory of natural law, it all comes from England. Next up, this one's pretty cool. This is about that Department of Justice stuff I was telling you about. Let me read this tweet real quick. Absolutely pro-move by the House Judiciary. Now, anytime a foreign government sends a censorship demand to a major tech company, the recipient will have to disclose it to Congress. So the person who gets a foreign government sending them a censorship demand, you have to turn it into Congress so Congress can deal with it. And Congress will disclose it to the American people. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. This came from the House Judiciary, GOP. We subpoenaed Alphabet, Amazon, Apple, Meta. Now, this is most important. Alphabet is YouTube. They subpoenaed YouTube, Amazon, Alphabet, Meta, Microsoft, Rumble, TikTok, and X. Why? Foreign governments are trying to silence American speech in the United States, and we have a problem with that. So here's a copy. You can see that all four of these letters are the same, so we only need to really read one. Here we go. This is the Committee on the Judiciary is conducting oversight of how and to what extent foreign laws, regulations, and judicial orders compel, coerce, or influence companies to censor speech in the United States. In the 118th Congress, the committee uncovered how the Biden-Harris administration reportedly pressured online platforms to censor Americans directly and by proxy. And then down here is the staff of the Select Subcommittee on the Weaponization of the Federal Government. So they reference it down there by Jim Jordan, chairman. They have a letter from Zuckerberg also referenced. Following this oversight, Meta admitted that it was wrong to bow to the Biden-Harris administration's demands, publicly committed to restoring free speech on its platform, and reformed its policies. And then they attach the letter from Mark Zuckerberg. Now, in the 119th Congress, a new threat to Americans' free expression has emerged in the form of foreign laws, regulations, and judicial orders that require or lead American companies to limit what content can be viewed on their platforms in the United States. To protect American civil liberties, the committee must investigate the extent and nature of these foreign censorship efforts and their effort on constitutionally protected free speech home. So this was just put out. This was yesterday. There's one to Mark Zuckerberg, says the same thing. Here's Andrew Jassy of Amazon. And then here's Sundar Pichai, exec officer of Alphabet Inc. He's the head of Google. Good. Get this stuff straight home to my YouTube people. I want my YouTube people looking at this. Remember, anytime someone is coming after your free speech, and you have to really hand it to America for having almost the most free speech in the world, I would guess, would be here, where you actually have laws and systems of government to back up your free speech. I believe we have the freest speech in the world. If you want that protected, because that free speech is a threat to government. It's actually how you change government is through speech. And if you look at what X did, the internet did, tweets, videos, our free ideas, and our free journalists, that was what got Trump elected. That's what fought against globalists. Remember, Democrats like globalists and other countries like in Europe, the only way they can win an argument with us is by taking away our microphone. They will not debate. So they try and stop free speech because they can't win based on logic, reason, tradition, common sense, facts. So they have to cheat. So everyone's after free speech. Everyone wants free speech taken down as soon as it works against them. Remember, Republicans, we fought against liberal media for the last 20 years of lying CNN, lying MSNBC, lying ABC, CBS, lying on Facebook, even lying back in the day on Twitter. And we didn't say remove the microphone. Our government didn't say that. We said, go have a fight, go argue with business, go try to stay out of jail, use your legal system. And that's how we ended up winning. It is because of free speech. And everyone goes like, oh, I got the Second Amendment. No, your Second Amendment, your right to a firearm is no good if you don't have a right to speak. It will, in fact, it will never fix the problem. If they do take away your free speech, you will never be able to fix the problem even with your firearm. You'll never get that freedom back, and you'll never claw that speech back. In fact, without the word, the truth of the word of free speech, they can just redefine your firearm as a terrorist weapon and confiscate it. They can, if you can change the definition of words, that's what I mean by you have to have a freedom to be able to argue these things and debate. And that's part of why we argue and debate right here on the Doug TenNapel channel. Thank you guys for subscribing. I'm Doug in exile.